What's up, brothers? Sean Don here. You're watching Garage Strength TV.
We're live. Captain's log.
We're here. We're live.
What's the star date?
Star date. I don't know star dates.
Yeah, that's because you're a fucking loser.
Okay, so we're here for an episode. It's not live of Dane's platform as we're driving to Grand Valley State University for the Big Throws Clinic.
State University.
So we're here with Trevor Stutzman, Jason Kuhn, Noah Kennedy White, Sean Donnelly, Sam Mattis,
Boo.
Legend Boys and Hayes, and Cam Yan. So everybody in this van right now has earned some semblance of an All-American title except for myself. In the history of the world. So I don't know where do you think we could go with this? We're headed out. This weekend tends to be a pretty crazy weekend, and it's just it's usually fun. There's usually a whole bunch of content that'll be passed around, a whole bunch of knowledge. We're going to Grand Valley State, and it's going to be a conference based around throwing development and training regarding hammer throw with Sean. Lucas McKay is going to give a little talk as far as his perspective as being the throws coach at Penn State. I'm going to have two discussions in the weight room and one in the classroom about just training in general. Justin Rohde, 2012 Olympian, will be there as well. He threw for Canada. He was an NCAA champ at the D3 level. So the weekend ends up being fun, crazy, whole bunch of stuff goes on. And then it sort of ends with the U.S. National Championship in the Discus. And that's what Sam, Noah, Legend, Cam, and we'll be meeting up with Alex Rose, Josh Sorochin, Ryan Negevin. So it'll just be a whole crazy weekend. So this is a car ride, and the car ride just tends to be filled with banter, farts, and everybody hating each other by the end of the car ride. Maybe a little less so because Lucas isn't here, but I guess I want to start with Sean Don. What do you
What's up, Dane?
What are you most excited for here? Other than me being drunk and making fun of everybody.
Should I hold the?
Yeah.
All right. Low-key, I don't know. I'm excited for the whole weekend. Pretty much every part of it. I'm excited to present some hopefully good material to all the youngins and coaches that are there. Drop some knowledge bombs. Help grow the sport and help everyone throw farther. And then I'm excited to throw some whammer, even though I hate it. And then, excited to coach some kids on Saturday and watch Dane and Rhodey present and learn as much as I can from everybody, but then also go out and have a lot of fun each night.
So how do you training at the OTC, how do you fit this into your macro schedule for the whole year of what you want to do and what you want to do training-wise and as far as, competition's concerned, and your preparation for 2019, is this sort of just like an active rest weekend? You're going to go home possibly for Christmas anyway?
Yeah. No, exactly. That's what it is. It's a good weekend to do it because I just finished up like my hard fall macro cycle or mesocycle, whatever you want to call it. So this week I'm just kind of taking it easy. In terms of whammer preparation, I've done 0. I have not thrown anything over a 6.8K hammer for 3 months now, so my specific strength is actually 0. So I'm going to get bent over by this thing. So just chilling, home for a few weeks, kind of taking it easy. And then once I get back to the training center in January, I'll be hitting it harder, up and throwing volume, up and lifting volume, trying to build more strength, specific strength, all that stuff. So, yeah.
So you lost a whole bunch of weight, correct?
Yes.
Will you gain the weight back, or do you want to try and stay where you're at now and see what happens?
Dude, I've had so much trouble trying to gain weight back So I got down to 225 from 255, so I lost 30 pounds over like 9 weeks, which is arguably too fast, but it happened.
How did you lose that weight?
Fasting and ketogenic diet, gut health focused, elimination diet, but essentially I just ate less calories than I was expending. No, vice versa. I expended more calories than I consumed for 9 weeks, and I ended up losing weight. But yeah, now I've been trying to gain weight back, Dane, and it's been so fucking hard, dude. I don't know.
So lean now.
I guess I don't know.
That's what they call the lean gain.
Toward the end of the diet, I was eating like 2,400 calories, and I guess I was training 8 times a week technically, throwing 4 times a week and lifting 4 times a week, but it wasn't hard. And so I'm back up to like 4,000 calories now, and I've gained like 5 pounds, which is probably legitimately just from putting carbohydrates back in, and then also from taking creatine again. So I've essentially gained no weight, but I've increased calories damn near almost double, and I've gained no weight, but I've gotten thicker in a weird way. Like, I don't know.
How have you seen like your performance change? Like when you dropped a whole lot of weight, and when you had your like really low calorie diet, and how have you seen it like bounce back, or did it bounce back when you added the calories back in?
Honestly, during I guess while I was dieting, it wasn't really that bad. It didn't have that much of a detriment to my performance because it was like, I don't know, like I said, it was very easy training. I was throwing light hammers. I was doing energy system conditioning in the weight room, so it wasn't very strength-based. It wasn't very taxing. So I guess that's why I kind of did it then. It was a good time. And then as I added calories back in and as I've done more strength work, I've noticed that, like I said, I think I've put on some muscle. Obviously, it's going to take a while. But in terms of strength, like I'm pretty much just about back to where I was at the end of last season, even though I am 20, 30 pounds lighter, which is pretty cool, I think. I don't know. We'll see, though.
So what do you want to do then? Like, what would be the ideal situation in your mind, performance-wise? Do you want to try and gain that, let's say 25% of that weight back? Or, what?
Yeah, no, like I said, the goal, I want to get back to like 240-ish, 240, 245. If I could do that at like 13, 14% body fat. So like I got down to 225 at I think it was like 12 or 13. So try to keep as much muscle as possible, keep as much fat off as possible, which, I mean, who knows if I'm even going to be able to gain the weight back. Maybe I need to do some more hypertrophy work, which to be fair, I haven't done much lately. Mostly I just got done with my triphasic training, eccentric and isometrics, totally destroyed from that stuff. Yeah, so I think the next couple of weeks are going to be more hypertrophy, strength-based. So hopefully that'll help me gain the weight back. But
how much protein are you taking in now a week?
1 gram per pound. Oh, per week? Well, per day. 1 gram per pound. So I think that's pretty moderate, right? Like it's not going, dude. On the keto, I was only doing like 150 grams. 150 grams per day of the protein. So to go from doing that to 230, I feel like I'm eating like a fucking horse each week. Yeah. But I don't know. That's fun.
So I want to go back to Sam and Noah.
We're watching funny Santa dancing videos, though.
So
We got distracted.
with Sam and Noah, last year,
Funny part.
especially Sam, you had a pretty good meet here last year. You threw 59 high.
Yeah.
Noah, your meet was solid. Like I don't think it was amazing, but it was pretty strong meet. I think
Yeah, it was fun. It
yeah.
wasn't like the ideal, but it was fun.
Was it 54 high?
54, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you guys are just gotten destroyed all
70
fall.
or bust.
70 or bust.
Well, also, that's an unfair categorization of how we spent our falls. I
I'm saying,
actually want to
me
say I
destroying-
found that fair.
Yeah, me destroying
I felt like
you.
I was destroyed through this fall
Yeah,
by
that's
that man.
Yeah, that's
He
that's
did it.
that's what I wanted.
Okay, I thought we were talking. Okay, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
No,
not
I thought
like
he was
that.
just being mean.
Oh, about us going out? No.
Stubborn old man yells at sky.
So what do you guys, heading into this weekend, do you like I think what sucks is that I wish more of the US discus guys would take this a little bit more seriously.
Yeah. They like to stay in their little nice training centers until it's time to actually compete outdoors. So
Yes, so I guess that sort of leads into my question, because this is what you and I had talked about, was where you could almost, if you put up a really good indoor mark here, one, it could set you up that very, 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 very far off hopes was potentially you could get invited to the ISTAF meet in Berlin.
That'd be nice. I think I could generally throw further than like most people there, but I won't get invited.
Yeah, so that's my whole thing, is that if you sit there and say, for the Americans, it's like, Alex throws, you throw, Andrew Evans has thrown in the years past, Reggie threw 2 years ago.
Yep.
And it's like, especially if you would go out and you put up, let's just say a 64, 65 indoors, it's also where you could use that heading into outdoor season as a way that your agent could sit there and say, hey, can you get me into more meets, because I've got a pretty good indoor mark earlier in the season. So that's where I guess what is your take?
Like in terms of expectations for the weekend, kind of
that, and then any
like
reasons for
how I feel about this meet.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do expectations first. I don't think I'm quite at the level of consistency where like I'd be like, oh, I'm definitely gonna have a good mark. With 6 throws, I mean, there's a good chance that at least one of them gets out there, I'd say. But I'm not overly confident, and I know I can have a decent mark, but it could also just be an okay meet. And right now, I think my technique's looking really good. I just don't have the speed around it, and when I try to put the speed and a little bit more power around it, kind of breaks down a little bit. But that's pretty normal because it's like December, and we got a few months left. I mean, I like this meet. I think it's a really cool meet. It's got a nice atmosphere around it. I think it could be used a lot better as like kind of a launching point to get people over to Europe for those like 2 indoor meets, which would be pretty cool because those look super sick. Or just even as like a gauge to see like, oh, how are the top discus throwers in the US training so far? Like, where are they at? And I don't think it would take that much to get more people here. Like, funding travel or just being like, oh, $500 for the winner or something would be pretty sick.
Well, so that's my next question is that a lot of guys will sit there and say, oh, well, it's too much competing. We don't want to compete that early in the year.
Yeah, I think, like, I don't think it's good to go 8 or more months without competing at all. And I think this is a good point to, like, back off for a little bit from what you've been doing in the fall, early winter, and kind of gauge where you're at.
Pretty reasonable midpoint.
Yeah. All right,
Yes.
so good job, Sam.
Thank you.
No, moving over to you, I think you've had a fairly productive fall training-wise. I think you have a better understanding technically, even though you're off-site, like just discussing, texts and stuff like that, where I feel like you have better feeling for the movement, and that's sort of where I'm interested to see where you're at, because especially after yesterday, you feel pretty good, you feel decent. We tweaked a couple little things the last couple of days, even the last 3 weeks, really, with your training. So, what do you? In my perspective, it's almost like this could be your sort of like, I don't want to say like coming out party, but party like the meet where it's like,
oh yeah, I'm coming out.
Yeah.
Let's do this. This is gonna be big for everybody. I'm so happy you guys are all here with me.
but that that meet for you where it's like, all right, Noah's here and he's not gonna fall 2 centimeters short of making USAs, and he's gonna mess people up.
No, I think one of the things that's enjoyable about this meet is that it kind of has given us something to train for over the last several months without it having to be something that's super stressful in terms of like the level of the competition and also just like what the competition means, because no one takes it too seriously while we're there. So like because my season ended so disappointingly over the summer, like this has been a really good motivator for me through the fall to want to go to Grand Valley and throw well there, but I'm not like stressed out. If I don't throw well on Saturday, it's not going to be the end of the world. So yeah, I mean, I think ideally it's the first of many successful meets. I mean, that's what every thrower wants. But I feel like I'm in a good position, and at this point in time, I'm just kind of worried about doing what I need to do to set myself up to throw well. So
yeah, no, I think that's good. And I think, I mean, it's weird. It's one of those meets where it's like everybody's sort of laid back, but at the same time, it's like super intense. And I think that's like the aura around the meet is it's like no one's really freaking out, but everybody knows
everyone
like,
wants to throw far.
It's time to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Fun,
and when
so.
we do have some big names there, so that adds kind of a fun competitive element to it. Jesus. But I think it's a really cool event, and like we were saying, what Sam was saying before, it's a really good sort of midpoint in your year of training, where we've already put in a good solid block of 12 to 16 weeks, depending on how long you've been training, and then we're right into the new year and into another block like of the similar length going into the outdoor season.
Yeah, I think what's cool from me as a coach, especially last year at this meet, everybody just tore it up from garage strength, and then this year moving forward, I think it's awesome for these high school kids to see someone like Sam or Alex or Andrew Evans throw, and then they see Noah's on the come up, and he's gonna be especially I think this meet for you this year, they see like that transition into that next level. This is your second year out of school. And then I wanted to go, Kuhn, what's this? Is this off?
Yeah, I guess. Should be dead.
I'll just hit record again.
Yeah, I don't think the G7 can go longer than like half an hour.
Yeah, no, mine is the same. I've always wondered if you could change it to the setting.
But I wanted, I think it's cool for the high school guys to see, high school kids in general, to see, an Olympian throw, and then that next step down where you guys are scratching and clawing to get to that next level, and then going back to Legend and Cam where there's sort of that next step below, and it's just cool for everybody involved to see the steps that it takes to get to the top. And I think that even seeing how you guys conduct yourselves at this meet, not overly seriously, but also still capable of, when you get in the circle, it's time to throw.
Like you said, that we're not overly serious, but like we know we came here for a track meet.
Yeah.
So it's
and then we'll party
nice.
afterwards.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
That's really what I'm here.
So I wanted to see Legend and Cam, because they've never been, they've never experienced this, and Legend's first year out of college, and he's just learning the ropes right now.
Yeah.
Really learning. Just, I think Legend's learning how to train. So I'm excited.
My bad. I'm gonna be
from
right
a
here.
coaching perspective, to one, spend extended time with you, Legend, but two, to see how you react to the environment, how you react to the atmosphere, the other throwers, meeting seeing someone like Alex throw, where, we're fortunate enough that you've been around Sam and Noah to see them ripping, but now you sort of get to, I remember what the first time Noah saw Alex throw, and he was like, now I know how someone finishes, because
he sits on the disc pretty hard.
It just rips the shit out. So
he's way stronger and way more handsome than Sam is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very easy on the second metric there.
Yeah.
So,
Metric, it's not that hard.
Legend, what I want to know is, what's been your take, especially because you just finished school like last week. So you have all fall training, and then you're trying to balance getting to the next level as a discus thrower, and then you're going to make this transition where you're going to try and train, basically full time, and commit to a sport where you've been playing two sports for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's like, what are you looking for out of this weekend, and what are your expectations?
Well, one big thing was that pretty excited to be around that atmosphere. I mean, I know the past 4 years been competing collegiately, and really, at D3 level, you don't really get to be around those types of athletes that really are at the national level, unless it's like at the national meet. And even at the national meet, you don't really get to see guys that are like USA competitors. So I'm really excited to see how just the atmosphere feels, like you said, and being able to see like a group of guys throw. at that elite level. So
one of the things that I'm excited for is that I know you have a very raw, like, understanding of the technical model we're working for. Like,
right.
You know, you and I have only been around each other for 5 months, really.
Right. Right.
And what I'm interested to see from a coaching perspective is how you handle
the transition.
Yeah, and how you handle getting coached in a meet like this, where
right.
you're going to be around them, ripping, and it's like, okay, are you going to get caught up in them, or are you going to stay focused on yourself?
Right.
And that's what I want to see, and it, not that it's bad either way. It's one of those things where it's just that's part of growing.
Right. That's one of the components about it. And I think I was talking with DJ about this yesterday, because he was talking about how the weightlifter, some of your girls were having a trouble with transitioning how well they were doing in the off season to the actual meets. But that's one of the things that I have been thinking about. Like, hey, like, all right, I know I've been working on components of the technique that are new, so it's normal to feel like unfamiliar in the circle in some circumstances. Like, I might want to try to freaking grip and rip one of them, and then it'll fall short from expectations. So I think as of right now, my mindset is I'm primed to be ready for adversity, but I'm kind of just curious to see how. I mean, because I don't know how I'll react. I mean, I hope I react well, but
right.
I think, like, just keeping it simple and just knowing that, hey, this is kind of like the intro to the next level. Is just gonna make things smoother.
Yeah, no, and I think that's the best approach you can take, because it's. I think having that open mind and thinking progressively is the key. I mean, I think that's the key at all levels from a throwing perspective, is that you can't go into this, especially because it is a foreign situation for you, where we just got to see how you react, and then make adaptations to the training, and try and just continue to grow over the next 6 months, because I think that's the big key with where you're at, is that the next 6 months I think could be huge. So
yeah,
this will be a good jumping off point. So if we go over to Cam. So Cam and Legend competed against each other in college, and last year Legend got second at D3 Nationals, NCAAs, and Cam, I think, got fifth, if I remember. Seventh. But he's a two-time NCAA All-American as well. But Cam and Legend have, they've got a good base from the Division III level, and Cam is returning for his senior year. And he will be competing against Ryan Negevin, who will be here this weekend. And I've been around Cam now for about 2 years, and I think one of the cool parts from my perspective is that, one, he's no nonsense. Even when I make fun of him, he doesn't even smile. And he's just always looking to learn and get better and make progress and work towards that end goal of being a champion. And I think that. Cam, what I'm excited for with you is that now you even yesterday, where you might have taken 100 throws, but you still, by the end of the sessions, you started to click, and you're getting a much better grasp of the movement, and I want to see that with the intensity now that a big meet could have.
Right.
And so, I guess, same questions that I ask everybody else is, like, what are you looking for to get out of this, and where do you think you're going to be, and what do you want to do with this meet's results as you work forward after this meet?
So, I mean, I've been putting a lot of thought into it. Just like Legend, this is going to be like my first meet here. Not really expecting too much. I know with me being starting my indoor season, I've been kind of like dual training between weight and disc, but I've definitely put a lot more emphasis on my technique for disc. And so, and like you were saying about yesterday, like how I've been took a decent amount of throws and still had like consistent technique. So I'm looking to basically see if I can put that together at this meet and like have a solid mark that's not too far off my PR, relatively close, about 55. And what was the other question you wanted?
I think that I don't know. I don't even remember. But what I was gonna say is that it's even for me as a coach with you and Legend being like the developmental guys. It's like, you know, and I say that, and you're both 54 high, 55 mid,
Right.
discus throwers. Like, you're legit throwers.
Right.
But from my perspective, it's like you and Legend have been off-site. You're both, you know, you can't train in a circle. You're throwing in a racquetball arena, basically.
Dude, not even. So, like, I don't think.
Breaking
I told you. I'm about
scoreboards.
to say, I broke the scoreboard.
Yeah.
And he can't even throw anymore, so.
But and then you got Legend. He's throwing like sort of randomly, and where he's at, and it's. We've been doing so much technical work, and as a coach, I might be sitting there giving you guys technical cues.
Right.
And I want to see them executed in the meet, but after the third or fourth round, if I'm sitting there as a coach, and I'm like, well, you know what, like, fuck it, let's just rip.
Yeah.
Let's just go. Like, who cares if you're jumping? I want to see if you can just put, and that's not like a long-term thing. That's only for this meet where it's like, if you resort back to your old technique for a little bit, it's
Right.
not gonna be the end of, you know, your existence as a good technical thrower. So I think, you know, I've got to keep that in the back of my mind, but I also wanted to communicate that to you two, where it's like, you know, yes, the technique is absolutely important, and we might take the warm-ups and then the first 3 to 4 throws to see where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
And then after those 3 or 4 throws, we can make that adjustment for the last 2 or 3, where it's like, hey, let's stay on this path, or, yo, just shut the brain off and just go, just hammer down, because then you could sit there and say, we might be in a spot where you both throw really well indoors, because that's another thing. I don't think either of you guys have ever thrown indoors, and it is very different when you see the discus fly with no air compared to being outside. And I that's, you know, I want to see how you react, how you're moving, and just being around. And I think for you two as well, I think you got to take from this meet, you know, notes from Alex, notes from Sam, notes from Noah, where you're watching, and if Andrew Evans is there, how they approach the comp, how they approach, you know, the warm-ups and stuff like that, and even taking feedback. So with you, Cam, I think you can learn a lot that from this meet that you could then apply to outdoor NCAAs.
Right.
You know?
And like even with the garage strength meet that we had over the summer when Alex came out, and who was the other guy that threw like 59?
Martin Marich.
Yeah, so like being exposed to those two, and even Sam and Noah, like just watching their form and technique, even though, like, no offense to you guys, like you weren't at like your peak, but like just the way like you approached and went into the circle and like how you carried out yourselves, it's still like a learning experience. And like that's basically what I'm taking this as, because obviously I feel like with the way Alex has been training, so same with Sam, like they're starting to get to like almost like that peak performance, and to see them actually like drop a huge bomb is just gonna be like an eye-opening experience for me. So just to have that experience, that especially like in this indoor scenario, I think definitely be good for a learning experience.
Yeah, I think that's exactly. I think that's the best approach that you could take, and dude, I'm excited. It's a fun meet to coach. We'll live stream it, and it's fun for me too, because it's having all you guys there. You know, Sorokin will also be there, and seeing all you guys sort of compete together, and coaching everybody on site, and now, you know, Cam and Legend, you guys being sort of like that next wave with Ryan coming up.
Right.
It's just, dude, it's cool for me, and it's something that I love. And hopefully we're all going out Saturday night and having fun, partying, and just enjoying the fact that, you know, our hard work from the fall, the technical analysis, the messaging, and just the discussion of technique. It's cool because I'm going to ramble a little bit, but even just, you know, talking with Noah through text, and boxing with Legend, and talking with Cam, it's neat to see you guys grasp the technique better and better and better, to the point where, you know, Legend might have a good training session and he's going, yo, Dane, check Boxer, go look at the Google Drive throws so that you can check out our throws. And that's you know, that's the type of care that needs to go into the sport if you want to get to the next level. So, sorry for that little rant. Trevor, what are your thoughts?
I'm excited to just see how everyone does. I mean, like, again, like, you know, everyone, you know, lots of people shy away from these sorts of meets because they're not in their tip-top shape, and, you know, it's kind of putting their ego on the line a little bit. But I really see it as more of a kind of a benchmark thing, like more of a, you know, it is the indoor national championships, but it is, you know, knowing that it's also, you know, kind of the beginning of the season, the very beginning of the season, and kind of seeing the performance here as like a benchmark on training and kind of just an evaluation of how your fall training went. I think that's, you know, I think that's something that should be valued. But just with the, you know, the weekend in general, I think this is a great opportunity. Like Sean was saying, just the sharing of information and a lot of different coaches getting together. I think this is a really valuable event for the sport of throwing in general, and I think, you know, everyone's going to get a lot better out of it.
I think I want to add something that sort of is frustrating for me, is that not that you know, off of a 14 or like a 16-week block that I could expect like a true, I mean, maybe you could get like a semi-peak, like decent peak out of it. But I think what's frustrating on my end as a coach is that, you know, with Sam, the way he peaked at USA's last year, it was different than what we did for this meet, you know, and not that we're anywhere close to a peak setup for this, but we backed off a little bit with certain things. He still got smashed in the weight room on Monday with some crazy stuff that we're just testing out over the last 3 weeks. But for me, it's like an experiment, and I think that's what's weird is that I could sit there and say like this is what we did for USA's last year, and it worked very, very well. He had, you know, 4 throws over 65 meters, and I know it worked. But then he dropped off hard. Well, yeah, that's true. But he dropped off hard after that, and it took a little bit to really get him back up to just to feeling a little bit better, where he didn't feel like a complete sack. And for me, this meet was like, all right, well, let's see if we can back off with certain aspects, still push him a little bit, and see if we get any spike from him at all. It's like as a coach, being willing to take these risks and then also communicate that to him on your athletes, yeah, it helps you get better and improve as a coach too. And that's where I just don't get where some of these guys that are coaching the top level athletes, you know, I think with Mason it's understandable. He's always just sort of been the guy that throws a couple times a year and that's it. But with someone like Reggie, somebody like Reggie, I don't get, because dude, he's a freak. He could throw in a comp every single weekend for a whole year, and he could still put out good marks. So
I was gonna say he's only had like, I don't even want to say maybe 6 weeks of real training.
and that, dude, I guarantee he can still come out and throw 62.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Well, I was watching him throw today at Kent. He was slinging.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess that's sort of my take on it. But I thought this would be, you know, Jason did a great job putting this podcast together. And do you have any comments? Because Jason's going to be running, Goonie will be running the media in the background the whole weekend.
Is he going to be vlogging while we go out?
Yes.
I'm so excited to remember what I won't remember.
So Goonie, what do you have any take on this, other than the fact that you put together a great podcast?
Any comment on the weekend?
Yeah.
A lot of media is going to be dished out in the next few days. Between throws, you, and garage strength, you know, expect hours and hours of content.
Yeah.
Great words of wisdom there, Jason. Yeah. All right, so thank you. When is this going to go? Is this going to go out?
What is smegma?
Next week?
Correct.
Okay, 2 weeks?
A few weeks, probably.
Yeah, so we're going to have this out in a few weeks, and we'll have the results up, and everybody should be ready for a great weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being on the podcast. Peace.